I cannot fathom, just from a 50,000 billion foot view of the league in general, how under the radar Marcus Williams leaving the Saints to go to the Ravens was. I think having a dominant free safety outside of generational interior pass rusher is the biggest force multiplier you can have in the NFL on defense, just because you can compress the line of scrimmage, all the stuff that goes into it. And the best one in the league walks out of New Orleans and goes all over to Baltimore, and it's just kind of like a ho-ho-mo smart move by the Ravens. I guess the Saints will figure it out, and in his place they go and get two box guys, one movable Tyron guy, one Marcus May, who was essentially a sub linebacker dressed as a safety at this point in his career. And they have absolutely no one to replace what was a very specific style of defense they ran, in part because of how special Marcus Williams was.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, to kind of answer your first question about, well, there's two things here. As a Saints fan, even though it's been a long time since I lived in New Orleans, but as a Saints fan, and no Saints fans, we are always feeling aggrieved that no one talks about the Saints. Now, in the 90s, okay, no problem. Up till let's say until the Sean Payton era, fine, whatever, I get it. They weren't very good. But, we're talking about a team that has been over 15 years pretty dominant. And then especially the last, 5 years or something, let's say since 2017, they've been, first or second in total wins in the regular season, maybe third, something like that. So obviously we always feel like as Saints fans that we're always being overlooked, that the Saints are always being overlooked in the national media. And then, specifically with Marcus Williams and playing free safety, it's just, I mean, I don't have to tell you this, this, but we don't see the safeties on TV. That's it, period, end of discussion. We don't see them on TV. The camera zooms in on the quarterback. So we just don't understand how important they are to a defense. And I would even say, I watch a lot of the coaches' film. It's still difficult to really have an idea of how good of a safety is. You really got to know, because so much of the safety is a deterrent rather than obviously there are safeties who are playmakers and you go and pick a couple balls off in a season and everyone loves you, but really the main thing is the deterrent. And I remember this chart from the Legion of Boom era Seahawks of where passes are thrown against the Seahawks through a couple of years, whatever it was, in the mid-2010s, when Earl Thomas is on the field and when Earl Thomas is not on the field. And the difference is incredible of, when he's on the field, there are just no passes thrown, in that 10 plus yards middle of the field area. Yeah. And then there are more when he's not on the field. So it's it's a more of a deterrent that you can't see that. You don't realize that's happening until you have, obviously a lot of data or just really good eyesight, which I don't have. So it's tough. But yeah, Marcus Williams, he's really good. So there you go. All that to say, Marcus Williams is really good.
What you can see with him, one way to evaluate the free safety is you can always get a sense from how they set up is what the coach is feeling about those guys, right? Where the second layer of the defense is, and kind of what they're wanting to run is how much faith he has in the ground they can cover, stuff like that. And then you just go beat by beat, game by game of the great QBs, and you just track what they want to do. And there's obviously this whole thing about how Dennis Allen plays Tom Brady, and that has all of its own specific different storylines. But when you specifically watch Brady versus Williams as a one-on-one thing, he has no interest in getting involved in anything to do with Marcus Williams. They will have times because of how quickly Malcolm Jenkins last season could fly downfield, because that was basically their setup, right, to him rotate.